Shalom. First of all, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to teachers, elders, and apostles of great millstone, likewise brothers, but not the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep, and due brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, Distruth, or His Fictions. And the his is Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. Let's go into the word fiction and see what it means. Literature in the form of prose that describes imaginary events and people. Something that is invented or untrue, which is the so-called white man's religion, which is Christianity and all of its subcomponents. Okay, so they would have you believe that the Mashiach, okay, who were when he called Jesus, is coming back. We hand out candies and flowers, and you know, a lot of people who are good are going to ascend into heaven, and everybody else that's bad is going to go into this everlasting lake of fire, okay, underground, you know, where they would be tormented forever and ever and ever. And that's the end of it. However, let's go to the book of Daniel 7 and down verse 25, because we're going to see exactly where this fiction comes from. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the sins of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. And this man is doing a great job of trying to wear out the saints. You know, the man that out in the highway in the Bible, in this unicorn that bring out the true everlasting gospel, which we were commanded to do by the Mashiach. But the elect man of Yasharal will not give in to all of Esau's, you know, fictional tales in the way he's trying to poison the mind, okay, of our people. There's a hope for the elect. Okay, when we go into the book of Revelation 14 and start in verse 6, you see, because the thing that we do is we always go out on the highway and the byway and on this unicorn daily, you know, giving illustrations and examples of how the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai will be dealing with the wicked on this earth, and how he deals with his people in the past, how he has dealt with us in the past, in the present, and how he will deal with us in the future. So you have two components of it. You have those of us, okay, that are going to be dealt with by being given eternal life, okay, a crown of life, saved out of the coming destruction and judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring on this earth, and in particular Great Babylon, America. And then you have 2/3 of us that are going to fall into oblivion, into destruction, because they believe in the fiction. They believe that this man who Esau set up, Jesus the Christ, is going to come back, and they can be whatever the hell they want to be accepted as they are. You know, what's this month? Pride Month, you know. You had a brother put up a video earlier today concerning an Eve saying that she loves Pride Month. She loves going to those parades. She loves, you know, the abomination, okay, that is associated with sodomites. And that's because she believes, okay, in what Esau has put out there, his fictions, that the God of the Bible is a really nice God. But here's the message that we always called with. And I saw another angel fly into heaven, in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, fear, power, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the foundations and the fountains of water. Now what Esau has you believe in his fiction is that we evolved, you know, from a soup in the ocean, and eventually, you know, grew legs, and you know, he happens to be the preeminent creation or evolution, okay, that came out of this soup of water. You know, this is what he puts out there. And this is why with his technology and his signs, he has himself set up as a God on this earth. But what does the scripture say? The truth. Okay? Give glory to him, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, for the hour of his judgment is coming. He's coming to judge this earth, and particularly he's going to judge Great Babylon, America. Okay, and to worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of water. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is the one that created all of these things. So we give glory to him. We don't give glory to man. We don't believe in Esau's fiction. And he knows it. Okay? But what he's created is a spirit of non-fear on this earth. Okay? When we go into the book of Matthew 24 and Psalms 29, it reads, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven should be shaken. So we know Esau is going to fall from his power. Okay, we already seen all the signs in the heavens as we speak right now. You had a case last weekend with Earth size or bigger than the sun type of anomaly. Okay, which we know is probably the chariots. Okay, or the chariot. Okay, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay, of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. You know, no detail, you know, no actual picture of it, but you know, it was they were talking about an anomaly, right? So this man already know what is to come, but however, he's been able to maintain that non-fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai by making him seem like he's docile by setting up this image. Okay, which they've used this man on a Caesar Borgia, okay, to trick the world. The world, especially our people, believe in the candy god that's coming back, you know, who's gonna handle flowers and candies, and you're gonna be in a fluffy clouds with, you know, little tiny angels with wings, and it's gonna be all good. And then only a certain kind of people, you know, they have to be like really devious, you know, like Adolf Hitler or something like that, that's gonna be burning forever and ever. And it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So why is everybody in this earth going to mourn? Because they are going to wake up out of that fiction. They're going to go, wait a minute. There's no such thing as no evolution. What the men of the Lord have been saying for decades is true. Okay? The Son of Man is going to return. The Mashiach is going to return with great power, okay, with the intention of overtaking this earth. That's his intention. There's not going to be any flowers and candy being handed out, okay. It says, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, so you go, well, one end of heaven to the other. Well, heaven is a place on earth. Right now, this is Esau's heaven. On earth. We are going to have our heaven on earth. So the angels are going to go and gather the elect, those who didn't believe in the fiction, who believe in the truth, those who have been ordained from the creation, okay, to be saved. Everybody else is going to be in dire straits. Okay, notice that this is going to take place after genocide part 2, which is basically Jacob's trouble, where Esau get to go back and do what he loves to do best to us, and that is to kill us. He's going to kill a whole lot of Hebrew Israelites. The Lord is going to let Esau loose on a lot of our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. In particular, a lot of women are going to die. Okay? We're not even going to talk about these doggone worthless, born in vain niggers. Okay? They're already dead, and they don't even know it. Okay? Let's go into the book of Proverbs 11 and Psalm verse 3. It says, the integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Let's take a look at that word, perverseness. Perverse, and it means of a person of their actions showing a deliberate and obstinate desire to behave in a way that is unreasonable or unacceptable, often in spite of the consequences, which is what you see the so-called white man. He is perverse, and so is our people that follow his ways. They're perverse because they lack that fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. See, we don't. See, as a man of the Lord, we don't. We will give up everything in life. Doesn't matter what it is. Nothing can break us from doing this work. Because we're gods in this flesh. And so we know we're going to inherit, get our spiritual powers back, and everything that we desire in our imagination times 100. That's already been promised to us. So why in hell would we give two shits about what we're missing out here? We're not missing anything. So we don't bow the knees, okay, to the so-called white man. We don't bow our knees to women. We don't bow our knees to kids or dogs or animals. Okay? We stay on this. We stay on the straight gate. Okay, it says, "Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death." So obviously, people who think that they're doing well and living it up in life like that, it's been made clear. Okay, the righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. So if you don't have any type of wisdom whatsoever, you'll be consumed, okay, with the lust and the greed of this world. Okay, and you believe into all the things that comes out of the mouth of the so-called white man, who's the devil that the Bible speaks of. This is the book of Job 14 and verse 4, because we know exactly what Esau's purpose is. It says, "Who can bring a clean thing out of unclean? Not one." You can't turn a whore into a wife. You can't. You can't turn Esau, who's naturally wicked and evil and born to do and was created to do that, into something that's righteous. It can't be done. You can't turn a pig, okay, into a nice, clean animal that can lay on your bed with you. You can't. It says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass." So the Lord has already set up a particular time, year, date, minute, seconds when Esau will have to, he's going to be terminated from doing what he's doing, because he's a hireling. He's doing the bids of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahshua. It says, "Turn from him that he may rest, till he shall accomplish as a hireling," which is, he's basically serving Yahweh Shem Yahshua's needs. He's the whipping stick. He's the one that's created to do the wickedness on this earth. His day. "For there is hope of a tree." So Esau, remember, he has hope. He has hope to make America great again. Hope that they will be on top again. Hope. And he sells that hope to Jakes. Okay? "For there is hope of a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branches thereof will not cease." So you cut a tree is thinking to himself, the tree, believe it can grow again, a little bit of water, some soil. That's how Esau is. Even though the Lord has cut Esau down to a son to bring him down, Esau thinks there's still hope. Even though Esau knows that he's not going to inherit the kingdom, he still thinks there's still hope that some way, somehow, he could probably get it, or he can continue to coexist or prosper. "Though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stalk thereof die in the ground." So you see, Esau is in survival mode. Okay, he's in survival mode. He's hoping for better days, hoping to resurge, that good feeling he had when he had us, had us in chains and in bondage. Okay, and it's the reason why he wants to always keep you in that fictional world, make-believe world that, everything is evolved. There was a guy named Jesus. He may be coming back. I'm not sure. That's what he's telling you. Okay, and since he's not returning, hey, people still bask in all of their wickedness. Okay, let's go into the book of Exodus 15, verse 1, because this is our mindset. You see, we've seen this before. We've seen the works of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua. "Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, for he had triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he thrown into the sea." This is when the Egyptian military force was destroyed. When they attempted to murder us when we was crossing the Red Sea. "The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua is my strength and song, and he's become my salvation. He's my power, and I will prepare him a habitation, my father's power, and I will exalt him." That's why we always exalt in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. We don't exalt ourselves. We don't exalt man. Okay, we know we are God's lowercase in this state. Okay, this is part of our punishment. Okay, is to be in this state where you're mocked, laughed at. People don't believe you. They try to get one up over you, or whatever the case is. Then they get pissed when you tell them to go fuck themselves. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts had he cast into the sea. His chosen captain also are drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, has become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, has dashed in pieces the enemy. That is exactly what's going to come. to these Edomites, okay, to Esau, the so-called white man, okay. He was been given that warning, okay. Touch not my anointed and do my servants no harm, which is us. He's been given that warning. We already know when he comes in as a flood, the Lord will raise up a standard against him. Let's go to the book of Revelation 18 and start verse 7, because this is what the so-called white man has always been. He's done, okay, with this powerful nation here known as Great Babylon, America. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she has said in her heart, I sit a queen, I'm no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Okay, that's the mindset of the so-called white man. That's the mindset of Great Babylon, America. However, we can see that's changing, right? Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judge her. So she's going to get burned. And here's a kicker. The rest of the world is going to be watching this. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why? No more trade going on. There ain't going to be no tariff, because there ain't going to be no Great Babylon, America. They can go like, wow. Woo, all gone. All right, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is that judgment coming. So that's the truth. The truth is, when the Lord, the Mashiach, returns, he's going to destroy America. He's going to destroy the so-called white man's kingdom and set up the everlasting kingdom, okay? And that is the fate of the so-called white man. That's the truth. The fiction that Esau has set up in your head is that he's going to go in space and colonize Mars, and actually now they're looking to terraform Mars. What a joke. Okay, so here it is, Jake. You want this truth, or you rather his fictions? Lord willing, the elect was edified at close by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Shalom.